Caesar Milan. I'm not comparing myself to Caesar Milan, but I've been working with dogs my entire life. The first business that I had was called the Georgetown Dog Walkers Association, which only became a business because my dad made me charge. I would never have charged. He found out I was like walking all these dogs in Georgetown, and then he's like, and I said, I got the boxer on Avon and 31st Street. And he goes, what's your rate? And I said, no, the guy asked me what my rate was. I ran back to my dad's house and I said, Dad, what's my rate? And he goes, for what? So funny, but he walked with me and put up like posts to get. Anyway, I started bringing like $300 a week. I think I was walking like 7 dogs. My dad would drop me off like, all right, like into my circle. So I've been around dogs. You know, I grew up in the summers in Roanoke with dogs. You know, my aunt right now, I think she has like 20 dogs. Something like this. Anyway, I'm good with dogs. I'm good with dogs, but this situation was an intact male Malinois, a year and a half. And I have him pretty fucking well trained. Another thing I saw from today. So 10 years later, it's about a month ago, Andrea, who's given the dog to her mom, I don't want this to get too complicated, but Andrea moved to Singapore, so I'm mostly communicating with Andrea in Singapore. Freaking God shot. My neighbor pays 25 grand to have this 10-year-old dog come to Venice, and he's gonna adopt him. Andrea pays him like half of it, and it's like so amazing. Like, it was for sure a disaster because nobody was gonna adopt him in Miami. It was a 10-year-old, you know, bulldog mix, and pits aren't even allowed. They're illegal in Miami, and when the amount was there and I didn't have it myself, and I could have asked like my emergency contact person, but that's like the person like asked to help me for rent and stuff, and I was like, oh God. And this guy's like, I'll take him. And then he wrote me a message this morning, though. He saved his life, but you know, long story short, he arrived. I found a Miami Transport, which is a van. Highly recommend if you're in a jam and trying to move a dog, or not in a jam and need to move a dog. Blue Collar Pet Transport out of Orlando, I believe. But they went and picked him up in Miami. We had 2 days. And a communication time thing. I'm talking to this girl, my friend, this beautiful angel girl, Andrea, in Singapore, and she's like a 1-month-old baby, I think. And you know, it's just very, very complicated. But so Billy stepped in as that angel that served that place for him. And then now Billy woke up this morning. You know, Billy's like a 67-year-old guy. It kind of drove me crazy, but at the same time, I'm so proud that we got through this day. He said, I feel like I'm married. I just want to be alone again. You know, I shouldn't have taken a dog. Please, you know, I've been thinking about it all night. Please find him a home immediately. By the way, I just got into it with this guy yesterday. I'm like a warrior for animals. Anyone I love, and for sure anybody that's, you know, needs like help. So, long story short, Billy's amazing, but you know, yet he had, after I had hung out with, he was like jealous. I don't know. He didn't want me to like see Aussie because Aussie cried after I walked him one day or babysat him. I'm like, you're welcome for babysitting him. The thing is that now Aussie's here, sleeping, and Hondo's there, and I think he's starting to snore, and so it's fucking crazy. My dog that I rescued 10 years ago in Miami Beach, one of my yoga students from that school adopted him. She had to move to Singapore and gave the dog to her mother, who's you know, Andrea's probably just young, beautiful, probably 25, something like this. Maybe her mom's I don't know why I imagine her mom maybe 70, but she's moved to a place where they can't have the dog. And so now this miracle happens that Aussie, aka Ganesh, that was the name I had named him 10 years ago, and totally remembered me, and obviously, but it's been quite a while. Shiva, the dog that I had when I had him, has gone to heaven. And Hondo's obsessed. Like, he looks out the window for a friend. We're on a walk. He always wants to be with a buddy. He's always looking for someone to hang out with. It's such a funny dynamic. Because all day today, I've been focused on one thing, which I found central being The Handmaid's Tale, and like something else to be neutral to their bed. Just like at 8 a.m., 8 to 10 a.m., I just tried to like big dog proof my place, because Aussie's bigger and he like doesn't know and explores around and stuff. And so I just moved everything, threw a lot of stuff away. And I took them running twice. And it was just constant because they're both, my friend was like thinking that Hondo was going to be missing attention from me. And it's quite funny, and I think much more manageable. The only way that I have a pit bulldog neutered male and a 1.5-year-old Belgian Malinois intact male sleeping and chill right now is because they've been fed well, they've been loved well all day. And Aussie's attention, he only wants to give me attention. Like, he's so incentivized by food or attention. And Hondo just seems to want to hump Aussie. I think that he'll figure out like a different way of socializing. I'm hoping he gets a bit of a contact high from this. This is the most chill it's been all day. I want to make my next video about kratom and how it's changed my life. Oh fuck. I haven't showered. Hondo's asleep. That's so dope. I've been having to like balance the attention though anyway, just to be safe, that I give to Aussie, but it's almost like he knows. Like, he knows. I took him for a walk first and talked to him. I really love my friend that came by, and he was like, I wouldn't even let you give him. He's the guy that is like my best friend, my emergency contact, and who, like he said when Aussie was on the way here, he's like, that's gonna be your dog. And no, it's gonna be a great match. Billy lives by himself. He's a nice older man. He needs a dog and he's excited about it. And he's like, he's gonna be living here. He's gonna be your dog. And I was like, no, it's just really cool that he was my dog. And before he came and stuff, it was just like building up. Like, I have that Saturn thing. If you know a little bit about astrology, there's something in my Saturn placement where like in 2011, oh, sorry buddy. I thought it was incense, but it was a piece of plant. In 2011, when I moved here, a bunch of shit happened, and I went to see a girl, it's like shaman girl, and she was like, my mom had just had a stroke, and she was like, the next 8 years are gonna be a little bit rough-ash. I was like, bitch, I've got somebody running my studio in Miami. I'm living in Georgetown right now where my mom's in a stroke in the emergency room. What are you telling me I'm in for a fucking ride? I had no idea. But she said, if you're really good for this next 8 years, everything will come back to you tenfold. Either way, negative or positive. Try to make in every choice, like every decision, the most kind and loving decision no matter what. Knowing that all of your decisions in the next 8 years, I think it's called a Saturn return, but I'm not sure, are gonna be coming back to you more intensely than other people's decisions. You know what I mean? I'm just a nice person anyway, really. For me to be a bitch, you have to do something principally fucked up that either super inconvenience someone I love or like hurts like an animal or something. Like I don't go out of my way, especially now. I don't go out of my way, God forbid, to have an issue with anyone. All that being said, I'm a little excited, so sorry if it's a bit scattered. I was not expecting to get a text at 8 a.m. that he said, as soon as you can, like as if I work for him. He doesn't mean it like that, but because I had said we got in a bit of a fight. I'm just raw, but he's awesome. Anybody that's in my life is awesome. I had said, like, he made me very upset the day, because I guess, after I took Aussie and Honda for a walk, just a walk one day when he went to a doctor, like, he was like, he's crying at the door, he misses you, blah, 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 he's not the same dog. I was like, you're being so fucking dramatic. It's not even been 4 days. Like, yeah, of course he misses me. I knew him 10 years ago. Like, I'm familiar. Anyway, we got over that. I told him, I felt like, Ozzy and I were in trouble at school and we did nothing wrong except have fun, Like, he's like, you guys will never be in trouble again. So I thought that was just going to be it. And yeah, today he was very firm. And I was just like praying, and I took like 2 hours, and I called like the person. So I'm also writing a book that I'm commissioned for. And not like I'm explaining how I live, but my best friend helps me. Like, I would have to, out of respect, and also it would be a decision, like a joint decision, I speak to one person about things. And so I had mentioned like the stuff that happened last week with Billy, and he knows how I am. I'm just I'll do anything to save a dog and to save someone, and he kind of loves that, because he's not like in the world like that. So he loves that he has like a little warrior ninja that he can like support and help. Anyway, so I said, hey, because my work, and it's important that I work, but he's this beautiful person that saved my life, that like gives me work when I don't have other work, like to heal myself, yeah. So I said, hey, can I make, like, I had stuff that I had to do for myself. I had to call EDD, which is the I had to send a thing to get like pandemic unemployment insurance, like whatever. It's kind of complicated, but Medicare, I got like a thing like that, my medical stuff. Anyway, that I had to do, was on the list, and something else was on the list that we had discussed, just stuff for me. So I did all of that. It's amazing how motivation, like that was like gonna happen. Like those were goals to happen on Monday. I didn't done for 10:30 on Monday because this was happening and it was important. And it's so cool that he was like, oh yeah, so I had to ask him, I said, hey, can my job this week be integrating Hondo and Aussie by chance? He's like, what's going on? I was like, well, and he was like, yeah, and he was laughing, and he came over and he saw them, and he said, that's your dog. Anyway, so it all balanced each other. I feel so, I'm gonna shut up because of the time, and I want to see if Sloan Bella's on, but it feels so good right now. Like, one's sleeping here, one's sleeping here. I'm smoking a joint for, I believe it or not, the first time I've smoked this thing, my vaporizer, but half the time it hasn't been hitting, so it's been like, but there's so much peace and love in this place. I'm really grateful. Never worry about things. I said I was not going into it with fear, because I don't do that, but I did look up like real quick to see if anything would come up, like tips with, I called my Aunt Kathy in Virginia that has 22 dogs to ask for like tips with getting to male dogs. So apparently the worst case scenario is balls, no balls. Doing good.